Hey guys, what's up? It's Coop from Brothers in Arms. I got something with me here today. Today we're going to be going over different self-defense / concealed carry rounds. We've got pretty much the whole spectrum here. We've got a 380 auto, a 38 special, a 9mm Luger, 40 Smith Wesson, and a 45 ACP / 45 Super, which we'll get into a little later to tell you the differences between that. We're going to be doing a penetration test to see how far they go in, because keep in mind, with a self-defense round, you want penetration, but you don't want over penetration. So we're going to see how these rounds stack up against each other. And remember, we're looking really at the rounds, not so much the platform that we're shooting them out of. And then we're going to do a concealability test. All these should be fairly easy to conceal, except for maybe the 45 auto. But Sutton is the expert on that one. We'll see what he does to try to hide that from the outside world. And then we're going to do a controllability test to see how easy it is to get follow-up shots with these different calibers because of muzzle flip, recoil, different factors like that. So stay tuned and we will show you what we got. Hey guys, so we've got the Taurus TCP here. It is chambered in 380 auto, which is, I'll show you guys, it's a fairly small round compared to what we're going to be shooting today. It's the smallest round that we brought out here. It is a very highly concealable gun. As you can see, I can slip it right into my pocket, and unless you really know what you're looking for, it just looks like I've got a phone or something else that's kind of bulky. You don't know it's a gun. So it's highly concealable, just not as powerful as the other weapons that we're going to be showing you today. I'm not saying that it can't be used for concealed carry, self-defense, but just keep in mind that this is probably the lowest caliber you should go for a self-defense round. We're going to be shooting in this block of wood here. It's about 6 inches thick. We're going to see how deep it penetrates, how big of a wound channel it leaves, and basically just find out what we're dealing with here as far as stopping power. So we're going to put 3 rounds into the wood. And one thing I'd like to point out is if you got big old meat hooks like I do, this thing does not fit in the hand well, but it is able to fit in the hand. It's just not very comfortable, and that's going to be part of the controllability that we're going to look at later, because that muzzle flip is really going to be a lot. Because it's still a fairly powerful round. You still got some powder behind there. It's not a 22. So here we go. So right here, you can barely even see where we hit because it's such a small wound channel. I've actually got 2 rounds on top of each other right here, and then one directly below them. And there is nothing that came through whatsoever, and I didn't expect it to. And that's not necessarily a bad thing. Like I said, you don't want over penetration, but we'd like to see a little bit bigger wound channel. Well, me personally, anyway. But to each their own. So that's the penetration test. You've got a very small entry wound, no exit wound, very small wound channel. This guy is definitely hurting, but he's not necessarily down for the count. I would say if I was going to carry a 380, that I would probably be dumping whole mags. I probably wouldn't leave it up to 1 or 2 shots. What we're going to do next is the controllability test to see, you guys could probably see in that video, that muzzle flip is quite a bit, and it's hard to hold on to that little pistol. So what we're going to do is set up some clay pigeons. We're going to set up 5 of them and see how fast I can move from target to target. Alright guys, so up here we've got 5 clay pigeons spaced a little bit apart to where if I hit one it should not explode the other. We'll have to see about that. But we're going to be testing how easy it is, first of all, to hit them. If you can look down the sights here, or what little sights there are, there's not much to look through. So what we're going to do is see how accurate we can hit these things and how controllable this is with the muzzle flip that we're going to be dealing with. So here we go. Yep, had a malfunction, which is another reason I don't like these 380s. And I'm not blaming it on the gun. These 380s have such a low powder in them that it doesn't take much to knock that gun out of battery. All right, there we go. And didn't even lock the slide back after it was empty. Okay, so that's the 380 auto. It'll work, but that's about all I can say for it. I'm not a big fan of 380 auto, but for those of you that wanted to see it out there, there you go. That is it's, you know, it's controllable. I was able to hit the targets, but not as fast as I could with probably another gun. But we'll have to see about that. We've got more guns. Let's see how we stack up with them. Next up, we have a 38 Special, which is not as concealable as that 380 auto that we just shot, but it's pretty close. Right here I have a standard ankle holster, and it doesn't really fit my boot well, but if I didn't have such high tops, it'd probably be just fine. Like I said, 38 Special plus P. It's a very widely used round. Used to be a very widely used law enforcement round. Not so much anymore because it just didn't have the stopping power. They were finding out that when they were shooting at vehicles that they were actually deflecting off the windshields because of that angle. That's when they started to move up to the 357s and then eventually the 40 caliber. But the civilian use for these guns is still very popular. Just because it is such a concealable gun. A lot of people like revolvers over semi-automatics because they are reliable. That stovepipe that I had with the 380, not going to happen in a gun like this. The only thing that's really going to happen is a round might not go off because of a problem with the round, not the gun itself. So we got another block of wood up here, fresh block of wood, and we're going to do a penetration test to see what kind of wound channel we leave, entry wound, and you know, just see what happens. Here we go. I'm going to shoot it single action first, and then I'll go to double action. You can actually see where you hit with these 38s. The 380, we had a hard time even finding the entries. These leave a clear, defined hole, which is really what we want to see. It's still a small hole, but like I said, this is pushing a lot more powder through here. Still a 38 caliber, but just a lot more powder in there, traveling at a higher velocity. Still did not come out the other side, but I mean, look at the thickness of that. We're not expecting anything to come through the other side. We just are really trying to show what it looks like when it first enters. So if you pull this block apart, you can probably find at least bullet fragments, maybe not whole bullets, but bullet fragments of what it would look like. We might do that and then put it in the video later, but as of right now, this is what we're going to deal with. So great shooting gun. Had no problem putting, you know, center mass here. So let's do the controllability test. All right, ladies and gentlemen, so up here we've got the 5 play pigeons, which is where I want to point out that this gun only holds 5 rounds, which is where you're really going to find people not liking the revolvers. Some of them hold 6, 5 or 6 is all you're going to get out of it though. They don't sell extended mags for revolvers. Even the 380 that we were shooting does have the advantage of having 7 plus 1 in the chamber. This 45 ACP that we have here, that is a 7-round mag. But like I said, you're only getting 5 out of this. So that's where accuracy really counts, and we're gonna see if I can pull it off. So 5 for 5, that's not bad, but in a high stress situation, are you really going to be able to take your time and, you know, find them in your sights? Maybe you're that good, but if you're not, maybe you want to look at something that's got a little bit more round capacity, like the 9mm Luger that we're going to show you right now. Folks, this is the Taurus G2C chambered in 9mm Luger. It has a 12+1 capacity. And it is my personal carry gun. I carry this everywhere I go. It's always in my appendix carry holster right here, which we might do a video later on about different styles that you can carry, but I like to carry appendix. I think it's the most concealable. It's the quickest to get to. But anyway, we're going to be shooting these Hornady Critical Duty 135 grains, which I've had nothing but luck with. So here we go. We're going to try a penetration test with the 9mm Taurus G2C. the 9mm here, which the holes are actually not so much different than the 38s that we already have in this block of wood. They're slightly easier to see, so that they're slightly bigger, and there's still no exit wound on the back. But I would bet money that inside here that the wound channel is bigger, just because you're pushing more speed out of that round, you're pushing more energy, you've got a bigger bullet, so it's just common physics. The 9mm, you know, is a deeper penetrator, and I would say personally for me, the 9mm is my go-to self-defense concealed carry round for you know, being able to carry right here. It's not, you know, there's probably different rifle cartridges or shotguns that might be better for home defense, but for carrying right here, I mean, you don't get any better than a 9mm in my opinion. So we're gonna do the controllability test next with the clay pigeons, and we're gonna see how it fares with that. Oh. All right, guys, this is gonna be the 9mm controllability test. All right, so as you can see with this bigger frame and this semi-automatic platform, compared to the 380 and the 38 that I shot before, I was able to go through those way faster. And maybe that's just because I'm used to shooting this more than I am those guns, but that's really what it boils down to, what you're comfortable with. And I'm comfortable with this, and for me, it works. And it works for a lot of other people. But, you know, different strokes for different folks. But that is the controllability test for the 9mm Luger. We have the Glock 27. This is chambered in 40 caliber. This is actually kind of an older gun. There's not a whole lot of people that carry the 27 anymore. They've been replaced by newer models that Glock has, newer calibers. Not a lot of people like the 40 caliber anymore, but it still holds up, I think. You know, it's not as efficient as the 9mm or the 10mm that has replaced most 40s, but it's still relevant. People are still carrying it, so we're gonna test it. We're gonna see how it does. And again, this is a smaller frame. My fingers don't fit on it quite all the way. So it's going to be a little harder to control, but it shouldn't be too bad. So folks, this is the 40 caliber. Again, we're not seeing too much as far as entry wounds between these different calibers that we're shooting, but those rounds are coming through. You're packing a whole lot more powder behind a 40 caliber, and this is a thick block of wood, and I'm actually surprised that they went through as much as they did. I expected a little bit of maybe a bump where they started to come through, but they are flying through there. So yeah, that is you know, it's, like I said, it's still relevant. It's got plenty of stopping power. I'm not really sure why people don't like it. I like 9mm just because usually you can fit more rounds into the same size gun. Like this is even a little bigger than my 9mm, and it only holds 8 where I can hold 12. So that's why I like 9mm, but still a good round. I don't see why anybody would have a problem with having that much stopping power in such a little package, but different strokes for different folks. All right, controllability test. All right, guys, again, we got the same 5, not the same, the other ones have been pretty well destroyed. But we've got 5 new clay pigeons up there, 40 Smith Wesson, and we're gonna see how easy it is for me to get on those targets. All right, had a few extra rounds in there. What the heck, you know? What's a day without shooting? So there you go. It's definitely easy to control. Probably not as easy as the 9mm. Definitely some more muzzle flip there, but not too bad. It's not too different. If you're someone who doesn't mind a little extra recoil, I don't see why the 40 caliber wouldn't work for you. All right, guys. I'm gonna have Sutton take over now because he is the 45 maestro. It's his gun. He's the one who did all the work to it, made it a 45 Super. I'll let him talk to you about that. I'm the polymer guy, 1911 guy, AR-15 guy, and $1 grand guy. Two totally different people brought together by brothers in arms.
So that was guns. All right, everybody, so the downfall about the 1911 is it is a jacket gun. With the shirt concealment,
there is no shirt concealment.
There is no shirt concealment. You get a light jacket like today, it's a nice little concealed pistol. Other than that, it's an open carry pistol. This is my open carry holster today. Let's see what she does with penetration. Alright guys, so in comparison to the 380 Auto, the 38 Special, the 40 and the 9, we are having much larger entry holes. And let's see the back. Though Cooper did cheat me, he gave me a thicker block of wood. There's no penetration through the back side.
But the wound channel inside,
the wound channel inside, it's just
the entry wound is.
I will not doubt that. Alright folks, by the 1911 we're going to do a controllability test on it. The 45 Super is exactly the same dimensions on the outside. There's a reinforced piece of brass on the inside. It'll have a little more powder like it can handle. So we're pushing the same bullet 300 feet faster. Now what that translates in your pistols, you have to beef up your recoil spring. On mine I have a nylon recoil pad inside of here. And my firing pin has a reinforced spring. Let's put it in action. All right, ladies and gentlemen, so the 45 Super, traveling faster. We have a hit here, and we have two hits right here. And that is actually blown through into the hay, the wood, and we have a big chunk missing. That's it, penetrates plenty. We're gonna do a controllability test on the 45 Super. Not let that one live.
All right, guys, these are the guns that we have shot today. We've got a Taurus TCP 380. We've got a Smith Wesson 38. We've got a Taurus G2C 9mm Luger, a Glock 27 40 caliber Smith Wesson, and a Kimber Stainless II 1911 chambered in 45 Super. So as we saw, you know, this is it'll work. It's a good gun. It's cheap. It's you know, it'll put rounds down range, but as we saw, sometimes maybe not effectively. So that's really just up to the consumer what they want to get. Like I said, we're not trying to sell anything. We're just doing comparison between guns. The 38, a good all-around concealed carry weapon, will work for basically anyone as long as you feel like you're accurate enough that you can only have 5 rounds or 6 rounds with you at all times. Got a Taurus G2C here, which my go-to gun, 9mm. There's nothing bad that I can say about this gun except maybe I wish it was a Glock. No, I shouldn't say that. There's nothing that I could say bad about this gun. It's treated me well. I know when I pull the trigger, there's a round going down range wherever I have that front sight. The Glock 27 40 caliber does just fine by my standards. It will put rounds down range when I pull the trigger. It's a Glock. It's probably the most reliable gun that you can find on the market today. Not this one specifically maybe, but Glocks are a household name for their dependability. And Sutton, why don't you tell us a little bit about this 1911, how it's converted from, it'll still cycle 45 ACPs, but it is a 45 Super, correct?
Correct. So as we've seen in the video prior, this thing will cycle 45 ammunition, the ACP just fine, flawlessly. The Super ammunition, it will eject 10 feet away. the ACP ammo lands at your feet. But in all of that, it has, you can get the sweet spot here, there it is.
Just while he's doing that, this is a 45 ACP and this is a 45 Super. And as you can see, there's really not any difference between them. I couldn't tell which one was which unless I actually flipped them up and looked at the bottom of them.
That's right, Cooper. The only difference in these cartridges is one is a high pressure cartridge. It can hold slightly more powder, which will give you a little more speed in the end.
Which is what you want.
Exactly. For your accuracy. It's a flatter flying projectile. It is there. It's more precise. So what we've done is the recoil spring is now a 28-pound spring as opposed to your factory 18-pound. The guide rod is a full length and it is a single piece machined. We have a little bushing here, so it's no longer metal on metal off your recoil, which I personally believe every pistol should have that. It's longevity. And we have taken the firing pin out and reinforced the spring inside of there because the extra recoil, we don't want that firing pin slapping and potentially making a double shot. And that is all we have done to this pistol.
All right, guys, that's all we got for you today. Hope you enjoyed the video. Make sure you like, comment, subscribe, whatever you want to do. I don't know, you're your own person. If there's a video that you'd like to see that we don't have, make sure you drop a comment and we'll do our best to accommodate you. We'd like to mention that Sutton and I have known each other for years, but he recently moved to Colorado while I'm here in Southwest Missouri. So you're not going to see a lot of us in the same video, but Sutton will have his own videos because he knows more about his style of guns and I know more about my style of guns. I'm going to be covering, the polymer pistols. I will be covering more of AR-15s, different guns like that. You'll see. We'll post more videos. You guys will get a better feel for us while he does the World War II 1911s. And that's it, guys. We hope you have a great night and stay tuned for next time.